and welcome back to another episode of Spike Coffee and Sarcasm. I'm Van.
I'm Chris. Good to see you guys again, or hear you guys again, or talk to you guys again.
I was going to say we can't really hear them, but nice try.
Can't see them either, but you know.
No, true, and I've said both of those. Anywho, we are doing episode 9. I cannot believe that we are episode 9 already.
That's
kind of crazy. I know. I feel like we just literally recorded episode 1 like 2 days ago, and now we're doing episode 9. And next week will be 10.
I know.
I can count.
Yay!
Yay! Yay me!
It is insane, though.
I know.
To know that we are... Wow. I mean... Wow. Yeah. That's crazy.
That we've stuck with it. That we've stuck with it, because let's be honest, both you and I are famous for starting something and not finishing it.
No.
I mean, let's be real with each other now.
Okay, well, you know, I won't
let
lie.
Let me ask Mark about that. You want to bring him in and let me ask him that question about you?
No, we don't need to. You know what? That's great. You better just stop that right now. We're not doing that.
So this episode, we're going to talk about everybody's favorite thing, our pet peeves. I know that last week was kind of a long week for you, and it was a rather long week for me.
Yes.
We both had some kind of emotional things going on, so let's talk about some things that pisses us off. I think that will be fun.
I think it would be fun, but I can tell you right now that starting something and not finishing it really pisses my husband off.
You would say that's one of his pet peeves.
That's probably that. You know what he tells me? He tells me his biggest problem with me is that I doubt myself. So that would probably for sure be one of his pet peeves. But I
could probably agree with him on that.
Yeah,
But him and I agree on a lot of things.
Yep.
So.
Okay, so
we think a lot alike.
So pet peeves. There are so many. I mean, there are so many. There are so many different categories that everything could, from something super small all the way to something, huge. So what are some of yours?
Yes. Well, I found a list online of 50 pet peeves. I'm not going to go through all 50. That would be kind of redundant. But I did go through some and circle some that I thought of something funny that would go along with it. So one of the ones on the list, and I don't know why this bothers me, but it does. When you're in a restaurant and you see a couple come in and they don't sit across from each other. They sit on the same side of the booth.
Oh, you know what? I totally agree. Yeah, that's a good one.
I don't understand this.
I don't
understand this. First of all, I understand wanting to be close to the person that you love. You know me, blah, blah, blah. But when you're in a restaurant with somebody, don't you usually want to have a conversation with them? Like, you want to see, don't hang up on me. I saw that look on your face.
I didn't. I thought I did, but no, I didn't.
I could tell by the look on your face what you were doing. But when you're sitting in a restaurant, it's just you and one other person. You want to sit across from them so you can communicate with them and you can look at them while you're talking. That's normal human behavior.
Yep.
But when you're sitting next to somebody, is it not hard to have a conversation?
It's impossible.
Like when there's 4 people at the table, or even 3, I get that somebody's got to sit next to you and you have to turn to talk to them. But if it's only just you two, why can't you sit across from each other? It bothers me to the point where I find myself staring at them wanting to go, why? I want to go over and go, can you explain why you're doing this? Because I don't get it.
It makes you want to walk over and say,
me.
You're doing that wrong. I mean, really.
Excuse me, sir.
That's that whole, like, when you people watch and you see somebody do that, that would totally pique a topic and make you start talking about it. You would be like slamming people who do that. I know exactly what you mean. I don't like that either at all.
People watching is one of my favorite things in the world to do.
Mine too.
Man, when my mom comes to visit, we'll go to the mall and we'll walk around for a little bit, but the main reason why we're going to the mall is to find a bench, sit down, and just watch
Yep.
and talk about people. I know that's bad, but we're not saying anything that's going to harm them or, anything like that. But it's fun. People watching. Anyway, so yeah, couples sitting next to each other, side by side in a booth. I don't get it, and it makes no sense to me. So I circled this one, but only because I have a funny story that goes along with this about my child.
Okay.
So this is when the toilet seat is left up.
I have a P one too. That's funny. Go ahead.
Yeah. I have 2 boys. So there are 2 bathrooms in my house that smell like porta potties most of the time.
Yep.
Because for whatever reason, boys don't know how to aim. Oh, that's Mike. Sorry. I thought somebody was coming in my door, but it's my cat. So there was a time where Nathan would never put up the toilet seat. He would pee with it down. And then Mom goes in and sits down, and now I have an ass full of pee. Not fun, not a pleasant feeling. So I tell him one time, call me a bad parent if you will, but I told him after the zillionth time of getting his pee on my butt,
Right?
I said, Nathan, the next time I sit down on this toilet and I get your pee on my butt, you're wiping it off my butt.
Please tell me you did that to him. Please tell me that you did that to him.
No, because I never had to. Because guess what? Since I told him that, he always lifts the seat. Because the look on his face was pure terror of him having to wipe his mom's butt. So,
that would be fantastic.
Never again did I have to warn him about it. He just lifts it up every time. So very rare do I sit down. And I sit down and have pee on my butt more often at work than I do at home now. Because for whatever reason, women think that it's more sanitary to squat over the toilet instead of sitting down on it. And
what
really?
The hell is
You're putting
that?
your pee on the... I know, you're putting your pee on the seat, which is unsanitary. If you just sit your ass down...
Yep.
Then there's not a problem. And most places have toilet seat covers, so put one down. Sit your ass down. Pee. Get up. Be done. But don't leave it on this... I don't get it. I'll never understand it.
Okay.
So I guess that's a pet peeve. Wasn't on my list, but...
Okay, so where I work, you know that I work in a factory setting. And they do not have toilet seat covers, but they have like a Lysol or a sanitary spray or whatever. And women still will go into the bathroom and hover. You still see their whatever. But I always spray the seat down and then wipe it down. And you use the bathroom the way it's intended to be used when you have stuff to clean it off. But I always clean the seat because... for that reason, because women do hover, and along the lines of boys peeing, I have 2 boys also that you know of, because the rest of my boys
that I know of.
Yeah, I
was like, do you have secret children?
I have a friend who told me that I have 80 children, but I only like 4 of them, so the rest live in the basement. Something you never knew about me. There you go.
Oh. Okay, great.
Anyway, the pee story.
Interesting.
My boys, you can walk into their bathroom any day of the week, any time of the week. It don't matter if I've told them to clean it or if they've cleaned it off, or it does not matter. There is pee on their seat. And I've actually cried going into their bathroom if I have to use it. I've actually cried. Like actual tears, not just that. Poor mom, it's an actual thing. I don't want to use this toilet. I'm scared. I'd rather go to an outhouse.
You walk into with a hazmat suit on.
Right?
I don't want to touch anything.
Yep, nope, I ain't doing it.
Oh, God.
That's funny.
That is so funny.
So,
let's see. So another one that I circled was know-it-alls and attention hogs.
Yeah.
I can be the center of attention, and I am a social person, but there is nothing more irritating when you're talking to somebody and somebody else interrupts you so they could try and tell you what's happened to them, or they're trying to one up your story.
Yep.
I will literally turn around and walk away from a conversation. I don't care if I was done or not, but if a person butts in and tries to one up my story, I will turn around and walk away. I have done it 1,000 times. I'm not here to listen to you try and be better than me.
I know.
I'm telling a story. You weren't even in this conversation to begin with.
Right.
You walked up here and invited yourself. I'm done. I'm out. Like, I don't play this game.
Right.
I'm done. And there's a few of them at work that it happens a lot, and I just turn around and walk away. And I'm sure that I've been called a bitch behind my back, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. But I can't stand it. Or when you're telling a story, or you heard something and you're giving facts, but you know that they're not 100% true facts, and then there's that one person that pops their head up and they're like, well, if you really want to know, nope, really didn't want to. Not your conversation.
Right?
Not your conversation. You need to stop. Just stop right now. Oh my gosh, it drives me insane. It drives me insane. I can't just, no. Nope.
At one of my jobs, there was a person who used to hold meetings just so they could brag about what they did during,
Ugh.
They would hold meetings so that they could just, pat themselves
brag about themselves.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that is what we called them, the brag meeting, because it was an every 2-week thing, and it was all about I did this and I did that, and it was like, and
yeah.
So
okay, great for you, gold star. Can we go now?
Here, have a cookie.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh.
You want to know one thing that really bothers me, and you can tell me if this is on your list. Seriously.
Okay.
Well,
right.
These two go hand in hand, but cryptic posts on social media, those, or getting on social media and saying something like, well, I wrote it down. I was going to say it exactly the way that it was written, but it's
passive aggressive.
Yes.
Being passive aggressive in your social media posts.
Yeah.
Yes.
I get the whole like getting on social media because you need somebody, you're asking for prayers, or whatever the case is, and you don't want to talk about it. But then they say in the post, they say, I can't talk about it right now, but I would like some prayers, or whatever. But it's those ones.
That's different.
It's those ones that get on and go, something like, it always happens to me. I just knew it. And then somebody will say, oh, are you okay? I don't want to talk about it. Well, what the hell?
Well, then don't fucking post it.
Yeah.
Exactly. I can't handle... Okay, so I'm going to apologize right now to my family members because I'm about ready to talk about you. But...
I love the warning.
And hopefully you won't hate me, and you already know this about yourself. But I have two. I have my brother, and I have one of my sisters.
Yep.
Who constantly... well, my sister's not as bad as she used to be because she has a good boyfriend now, but it used to be really bad where you would post things like... something like, I can't get to work tomorrow because I don't have any gas money. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you forget my phone number? Did you forget that you have a sister that maybe could help? I'm not going to help you if you're going to post some passive-aggressive thing on Facebook and expect me to pick up the phone and call and say, do you need help?
Right.
That's not going to happen. I'm not going to do that. If you need help and you need something, you know my phone number.
Yep.
Call me and ask me. My brother did it when school was starting. He posts something like, I hate that I can't get my kids any school supplies or school clothes. Again, I'm sorry, did you forget my phone number? Because all you really had to do was give me a call and I probably could have helped.
Yep.
But since you couldn't pick up the phone and call me, you don't even have to call me. Send me a text. I'll help, but I'm not going to do it just because you posted on Facebook. I just keep scrolling. I ignore it.
Yep.
I can't do it either. I don't like those. But see, I'm guilty of it because when I first got divorced, I did it a lot of, the cryptic, I can't believe this is happening, or why does this keep happening?
Yeah.
And then not responding to anybody's wanting to know what's wrong.
Well, and I think we all
I used to do that a lot.
I think we all do that, but there is okay, I guess I really shouldn't say that because I am guilty of it too. I mean, my close friends and family know, like, if something's bothering me and I posted about it on Facebook, chances are somebody, or on social media of any kind, of really, but chances are somebody know, you know, I've already told you, I've already told my family, I've already something. Mm-hmm. And I don't generally post those cryptic messages because when it comes back in a year and says, you know, so I hate when I read it back in a year and I don't remember what it was I was talking about. So I don't do that anymore very often. But, and even if I did, I'm talking like the people who do it frequently. Alyssa used to have this friend, and she did it all the time. She would post some message like that, but it would have no content in it. It would just be a cryptic message like, oh, my life is horrible. And then when somebody would say, well, what's going on? She would always say, I don't want to talk about it. It's like, then don't post that. You know what? Because I'm nosy and I want to know. I'm that person who would think that obituaries are much more interesting if it told you how they died. And that's morbid, I know.
Oh my God, me too.
Okay, good. Then I'm not the only one who's warped.
Me too.
I really hate that.
Yes, no. Well, and you know, okay, so this is going to sound really bad. And this is probably why I listen to true crime podcasts, because I'm not a serial killer by any means. I've never wanted to kill anybody, nor do I ever want to kill anybody. And I don't like people who kill people. But
Wow.
I am one of those people, just like you. It would be, I would get some closure if you tell me how they died on their obituary. Like, I want to know what happened.
Right?
And I know that that's so wrong, but I want to know what happened. What happened to you? Why did you die? But
I can't feel the proper emotion if I don't know what truly went wrong.
How am I going to get any closure on this person who died who I barely know? Like, I don't even know who they are, but I want to know how they died. Anyway.
It's the empath in us.
Another thing that I do. It's the what?
The empath. We are empathetic.
Oh.
It's our nature.
Okay.
I'm just nosy.
We'll go with that.
Sorry, go ahead.
I know, we're just nosy. So, another thing that I do too is like, okay, if somebody posts something on Facebook and it's about like a memorial for somebody that they know or an acquaintance that they know, what does this person do? What do? I go and I start Facebook stalking other people so I can find out what happened to that person because I want to know what happened.
That's exactly, I'm the same way. In fact, this is, okay, so there is somebody at work had something tragic happen in their family. Like, nobody died, but it was something really bad. And so I'm not friends with that person, but I wanted to know what happened, so I was stalking everybody's page because I'm so nosy. And I do. I know. I hate, you know, maybe that's even a character trait that you wouldn't necessarily like in somebody. They're too nosy.
Hey.
But you know what?
There's worse things that we could be doing. There's worse things that we could be addicted to drugs. We could be alcoholics. But no, we're just nosy. I don't ever, repost anything.
No.
I don't ever comment on anything that I don't know anything about. I just am curious about what happened.
Right.
So that's it, and then after that, I'm done. I don't ever go back and look. I mean, there are some that, like a friend will have somebody whose child is going through an illness.
Right.
And they post, progression. Well, then I get involved in it because I'm reading all the previous posts of what happened and how it happened. So now I have to start following this page because I need to know the follow-ups. Like, I have to know what the outcome is and if the child survives. And then I feel really bad because I'm following this page of these people I don't even know. But I have to because then I can't sleep at night. Anyway.
I know.
Let's move on so we don't give away too many more of our weird secrets. Because people could stop listening to us before we even get to episode 10. So I circled this other one, and the reason why I circled it was because you used to do this when we were in high school. when I would stay the night at your house on weeknights, on school nights. And it used to drive me insane. So
I'm going to learn something new right now.
Oh, no, it won't be new once I tell you what it is. So it's when you have a roommate who is addicted to the snooze button or who doesn't wake up to their alarms, but you wake up every single time. So when Chris and I were in high school and I would stay the night at her house on a school night, which happened quite often, this girl could sleep through anything. And her alarm would go off and it would be so loud. And I would wake up the first second it would go off. And I would nudge her, push her, turn off your alarm. Oh my gosh. It would take you literally at least 5 minutes to even just wake up to push the snooze button.
You know?
And then it would go off again. And she still would not move. And oh my God. You just would never wake up. You could sleep through anything. You could sleep through anything. It drove me crazy.
Okay, you're right. I do know. I do know that. And you know what?
Yes.
Some things never change. Although, I will say that there was about a 10-year period that I woke up at the drop of a hat. And that's when, the 10 years that I was from the first to the last baby until that baby was about 2 years old. Yeah. I do that now. In fact, there was a couple months ago, there was one day I have to get up at 5:30 in the morning. I have to get up at 5:30 to be to work. I have to leave my house by 6:30 to be to work. I start work at 7. And this one morning, I woke up at 6:34, and I have to start work at 7. So I got up and I got dressed real quick and I rushed through the door and I got there at 7:04. And that night I told Mark about it and he set his alarm too, because I had my phone set that has like 7 alarms on it, because I have it set to go off.
I have 4.
I have it set to go off at 5, 5:15, 5:30, 5:45, and 6. And then at 6:30, so I guess it's 6 alarms. But I also have Mark's that goes off at 5, 5:15, and 5:30. And they're all different sounds. It's not all the same, because if it's the same, then I got a problem. There's a problem there.
Oh, it was bad. I can remember even your mom would come in, but your mom was kind of the same too. She could sleep through anything. All of you guys. Yep. I'd be sitting at your house and wide awake with all these alarms going off, and everybody's just snoring. I'm like, I'm like in the psycho, or what's that called? The Twilight Zone. The Twilight Zone over here.
It's true.
It was crazy. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I just thought that was funny. When I read that, I laughed and I thought, oh yeah, I want to talk about that.
That's
I want to talk
funny.
about that.
I know
one last one that I circled.
I know what I was going to say about that Facebook one. Also, when people post rants on Facebook, I was reading through posts on one of the groups that I'm in, and it was a post that said something about somebody was celebrating downloads for their podcast. They were celebrating how many downloads they'd had, and they hit like 5 million. And somebody else got on and went, yay, 5 million downloads, 500 downloads, 1,000, whatever. They went on and on. Downloads don't really count, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm done ranting. I just had to get that off my chest. And I thought, well, you just posted that and now have a full following of people. So what's that say for you? How rude. Yeah.
And how do you say that downloads don't mean anything in the podcast world? I thought that was like the main thing, right?
His point was, downloads, when somebody downloads your stuff, it could be one person downloading all of your, say, like, for example, you and I have 8 uploaded, okay? But we have over 200 downloads. That doesn't necessarily mean we have 200 people listening. It just means that maybe, what I mean? So that was this guy's point. He said, I've been podcasting for 12 years, and it doesn't matter how many downloads. It's your success is not measured by the numbers. It's measured by the impact you have on people and how you change their lives. Well, some
blah blah blah
right.
blah blah.
And some podcasts, like for example, ours, we're not an advice podcast. We're just there to make somebody smile. If we made somebody smile, then that's our impact. But it's not this big, we're not changing the world, So, yeah, the downloads matter, and I like to celebrate.
I do, too. Well, and that guy right there, that's a know-it-all. That goes back to the know-it-all.
Right?
You know what? Shut up. I don't want to hear... You're entitled to your opinion, but what works for you doesn't work for everybody else.
Right.
So if you don't want to celebrate your downloads because you don't think they matter, move along.
Right?
Just move along.
Right?
Go do your thing and leave the rest of us alone. Mm-hmm. I will celebrate downloads and I'll celebrate other people's downloads. God, that just irks me. That kind of makes me mad. That guy kind of made me mad. I didn't see it, but that makes me mad. So, one last one that I circled, and before I get to my biggest pet peeve, because I have one that's at the top of my list.
Okay.
This one was slow elevators. And the only reason I circled this was because at work, I work in a building that has 3 levels. And my office is on the 3rd level.
Okay.
3. 1, 2, 3.
Right.
We have the slowest fucking elevator in the entire world. Like, literally, it takes... If I walk in and I push the button, I will not get to my desk for another 5 minutes.
Really?
Because the elevator... Oh my God, Chris, you have no... It is the slowest... I might have to video it one day if I'm there, like, by myself, because I don't want to look like a complete idiot. But I'm going to have to, like, video it, like, Facebook Live or something on our page, and push the button and just sit there. And I'll walk in the elevator, I'll get on it, I'll push 3, and even the door closes slow. I'm like, really? Like... What are you waiting for? Then you get to the top, and then you have to wait for the door to open. And then, it's like everybody complains about it. I'm like, I could take a nap. I could put my head back and, like, literally sleep for a couple minutes because the elevator's so fucking slow. It's insane. It's insane. And then you get on another elevator that goes 3 floors, and it's like, get in, door shut, you're at
right?
the 3rd level, and I'm going... Whoa, what just happened? That's like the fastest elevator in the world.
Well, I might get whiplash
Which is
from
probably... Right? Exactly. Okay, what other pet peeves do you have before I tell you my biggest and most... I just lost my train of thought. What's yours? What do you have?
Okay, so here's one for, like... I don't know what my biggest is, because I have several that are really things that seriously just piss me right off. Like, things that make me go, what the actual fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, okay, so one of my biggest, or one that really gets me, is, like, when I go through and I say to each one of my kids, come on, it's time to do your chores. Okay? 2 minutes later, I hear no movement. So I go walking back through. You guys, it's time to do your chores. Let's go. Let's get your chores done. Okay. 5 minutes later, there's still no movement. In fact, over the weekend, I told Caitlin, you need to do the kitchen. Okay. For 4 days, I've told her, you need to help with the kitchen. You need to get the kitchen clean. Finally, I walked in on Saturday, and I walked in and I said, give me your phone. Why? Give me your phone. And so she gave it to me, and I said, now clean the kitchen, and I'll give it back to you. It's amazing what you can get done when you take their phone away. But...
Oh, yeah, or the Xbox.
Yep. Any of their electronic devices, anything like that, yeah. That's a big one. Also, along the lines of chores and stuff like that, like... If I have my kids fold the towels and they don't do it right, I love that they help, and I appreciate the help, but sometimes I wish I didn't ask. And it's not so bad now, but when they were little kids, it's like loading the dishwasher and then they go to bed and you reload it because they did it wrong. But
No, I don't know what that's like. I've never done that.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I can't. Mark, okay, so when I go to bed at night, I cannot stand to get in bed if the bed is messy. So right before I get in bed...
Oh, God.
I'm serious. Right before I get in bed, I straighten out the sheets and stuff. And I don't necessarily make the bed, but Mark won't even... He'll stand there and just wait for cues to help because he'll just stand there because if he doesn't do it right, then I fix it. And it makes him mad. I know. I can't help it, though, because... I get hot flashes, so my bed gets extremely messed up. And if I crawl into a bed that's that messed up, I can't get comfortable. And then I flop around, and then it takes me 5,000 positions to... No. I'd rather just make my bed and then get in it and mess it up. I don't care what you say. Call me nuts. Whatever. I can't stand it.
I'm not going to call you nuts because I have other friends that are a lot like that. Like the whole folding towels and... They don't do it the way you want it, so you redo it. I'm not one of those people. Like, if you're going to help me fold the towels, I don't care how you fold them, just fold them. I just want them folded. I don't really have a whole lot of what people like to call OCD. We won't get into OCD, and that's really not what you have, but I won't get into all of that. But my thing is leaving cupboards open in the kitchen.
Yes, why? Why do they do that?
My mother does it, Crystal. My mother does it. She was here over Christmas in my house, and she'd walk into the kitchen, and then I'd walk in, and 3 cabinets would be open. And I'm like, oh, for the love of God, close the cabinets. My kids do it too, and I don't understand it. It drives me insane. I will go in there and just start slamming them because I'm like... It doesn't take a lot of effort to just shut a cabinet. It's a slight push. It's just a slight push. And it's closed. But no, it can't be done. It drives me crazy. I can't help it. Like, I'm not a clean freak. My house is not sparkling clean. And I'll be the first to admit it. I kind of wish I had a little bit of anal in me. Like, that's what people think when they say they have OCD. No, you don't have OCD. You're just anal. Let's get that straight right now. I don't.
I kind of wish I had a little anal in me.
Yes, I did, actually.
Sorry.
And you just snorted.
Struck a funny bone.
No, it sounds a little weird, but not in that context.
Of course not.
Okay. In the context of being very particular about something. Right. That is something I'm very particular about.
Agreed. I'm right there with you. Anal retentive. I totally understand that. And you're right. Yes. I'm the same way. I don't have OCD, but there are certain things that really have to be right. And even the towel thing. Like, I had a friend who required to, when she folded her towels, she folded them one way, folded them another, and then the ends couldn't be sticking out. So she folded them, like tri-folded when they were, you know what I'm trying to say, so that the ends weren't sticking out. They were rolled. Yeah. That was a big deal. So one day I was over at her house or whatever, helping her fold towels, and she turned around and looked at me and went, you're not allowed to do that anymore. And I was like, what did I do? And she goes, you're not doing it right. And she was serious. Like, I thought she was kidding, but she was serious. And I said, well, how do you fold towels? How do you do it wrong? And she goes, you do them like this. And then she showed me, and I was like, oh, well, your way takes up way more room in the cabinet. They're too thick for me to do. Oh, wait, whatever. Fold your own damn towels in.
Everybody has their own particular way of folding things. Sorry, I didn't mean to. It's kind of late.
So here's another one for you. When your phone freezes up, does that ever happen to you? Oh my gosh! If I open Snapchat, Snapchat freezes my phone. And I don't mean anything negative towards any apps or whatever, but certain apps do that, and Snapchat is one of them. So I'm hardly ever on it because I hate when it freezes up. It pisses me off.
I'm hardly ever on Snapchat because I don't fucking understand it.
I don't either. I'm too old to understand it.
Yeah. I don't. And plus, they just changed the format. Format? What the hell is that? I can't say it. What is that
the
word?
Format. And I agree
Thank
with
you.
you. Why do they go messing with stuff?
I don't know, but it sucks now, so I really don't go on it anymore.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
So, my biggest pet peeve, and this has been something you'll probably even know this about me.
Does it have to do with driving?
And I actually, driving can be a whole nother episode because I have so many pet peeves when it comes to driving. We could just save that for another whole episode.
Okay, go ahead.
Because, ooh, I got me some road rage sometimes.
Me too.
So this pet peeve of mine that is my biggest one, there's actually a condition, a medical condition for this pet peeve. And it is loud eating.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot handle crunching of chips.
Yep.
Somebody eating with their mouth open, crunching of popcorn. Ask my kids if they're eating, and Nathan is the loudest eater ever. Oh my God. Oh my God.
That's how
I
Dylan
can't
is.
listen to him eat. Yeah, oh my God. It drives me nuts. But if there's somebody at work and they're eating chips, and it's like, you can put a chip in your mouth and then bite down on it with your mouth closed and it doesn't make as loud of a crunch.
Yep.
But then you have those people that go, and it's like just this big crunch, and I'm like, I literally have to put my headphones in with music on so I can't hear them chomping on the chips. I can't do it. It sends shivers through my body. I cannot. And chewing gum, chewing with your mouth open.
What's the
I
condition
can't do it.
called? I forget. I think
It's called, I looked it up. Hold on. I looked it up on WebMD. It is called misophonia. misophonia. And it is called, literally, hatred of sound. It's a condition in which negative emotions, thoughts, and physical reactions are triggered by specific sounds. And for me, it's eating. It's loud. And slurping when somebody's at the end of a drink and they're slurping it through their... Oh my God, I'm going to take it and I'm going to shove it up your face. Stop doing that. I can't do it.
My
son... Nathan does it in...
Go ahead. You go ahead. Finish what you're saying. I'm sorry.
Nathan does it in movie theaters when we're watching movies, and he gets to the end of his drink and he's all like making, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to kill you right now. And then he opens it because he thinks this is going to be better. He opens up the cup and starts putting ice in his mouth and chomping on the ice. Are you fucking kidding me right now? That's worse. Don't do that. Chomping on ice is the worst. And I have people at work. I have one that does the chip thing, and I've got one that sits by me that does the ice thing. I'm like, oh my God, this job is going to drive me in. Rubber jacket and straight room. That's nice. Straight jacket.
You are so having a Chris night.
Oh my God, my brain is not working right now. Anyway, that's my biggest one.
Oh, okay, so I don't know. There are several that I have that are just, I don't know, like, people starting, like, rumors, or I guess that's not really a pet peeve, that's just irritating, so it's not really, you want to know what's really pissing me off, what's a pet peeve for me right now? Having a winter storm watch at the end of March. It's been snowing all freaking day here. All day. And it's cold.
On the flip side of that, on the flip side of your winter storm, I'm pissed off because I had to turn my air conditioning on because it's been 85 here. Oh. So, it goes either way. Do you want to be really cold or do you want to be really hot?
I want to be somewhere in the middle. Isn't Hawaii like constantly 75 degrees?
They're more like 80 to 85 degrees, but yes, if somebody could suggest a place where it's like anywhere from 70 to 80 degrees, all the time.
Yep.
With a slight breeze in the air. Sign me up. I'm there.
Yep.
That's where I want to be.
Let it be cool. Yes.
And
I agree.
And it can be cool at night. So I have to put on a jacket.
I would even
anybody knows what that is?
I would even be cool with like it being that exact thing, but not even a jacket, like just a hoodie. You know, just something like a sweatshirt or a hoodie or something like that. That would be perfect weather for me. And I will say, like, living up here, you know, I know down in Phoenix, you guys, or in the desert states or Southwest or whatever, you guys don't get a lot of the season changes. I know in the spring things turn green and you get the blooms and everything. So spring is probably pretty with the pastels.
And then you're sneezing and your eyes are watering and itching. Yeah.
Okay, so that's not fun. But it's either hot or hotter there. Like up here, though, we do get the seasons. And the fall colors up here are fantastic. They are so pretty. So I do love the fall because I like the colors. But the summer up here is my absolute favorite. It's so not hot. But we go through, you know, it's humid up here. So it may not hit 120 degrees, but it is 97 degrees with 99% humidity. So it is hot.
Nope. I would rather have my Arizona dry summers, although I have to say, because so many of I almost said you people, and I really shouldn't say that because that's not nice. So many people have moved down here from where, like, you are because they don't want to be in that cold weather anymore. But then they decide that they're going to bring all of their plants from where they lived before down here. And so our summers really aren't as dry as they used to be. We get more humidity now than we ever have. And I literally hate humidity.
Yeah.
When I went on the New Kids Cruise in 2012, it was in Florida.
Yep.
Oh my God. I hated it because it was so humid.
Yep.
There was a point where I was on the Lido deck, on the top deck where Donnie has all the after parties and everything.
Yep.
And we were up there, and I literally had to go back to the room because the air was so still and it was so humid
and muggy
that I literally started to feel like I was suffocating because, you know, there's 2,000 people all in the same spot.
Yep.
And we're dancing and, you know, drinking and all that. I literally had to say I got to go lay down for a few minutes because I was hot, and I'm not a small girl. I got cushion in that, you know, fat girls, they get a little sweaty in places that they shouldn't really be sweaty. So that was another issue. I had to go wipe down.
I had to go wipe down. Yeah. When you went on that cruise, was it in May? Because I went in May and it was in Florida and it was humid. Yeah.
It was June.
Oh yeah.
Ours was in June.
Yeah, hot.
It was, and then we did a pub crawl in the Keys, which was a blast. It was so much fun. The whole cruise was a blast and it was so much fun. But we went on this pub crawl and it was so humid, and of course we hadn't slept because, you know as well as I do, you don't sleep on the cruise.
Yep.
I think there's a picture of me somewhere where I have like a cold water bottle shoved down my shirt.
Yep.
Because I was just trying to stay cool. I think Janelle has that picture or sent it to me or something. I know it's out there somewhere.
That's funny.
But
okay, yeah. So another one.
So
when people half-ass do anything or cut corners, that's a pet peeve. Like, and when I say that, I mean anybody, but what I'm referring to is when, like, you tell your kids to take out the trash or clean up the kitchen or pick up their stuff in the living room, and then you walk out there and the lid to the trash can's on the floor, or the kitchen has 12 rags sitting in the sink that have been used. Can nobody see this? Am I the only person on the planet that can see this mess? Seriously. Or even, you know, they go into the living room and they take their shoes and their socks off and everything. You tell them to clean it up and they pick up their shoes and leave their socks there. It's like, are they invisible? Because that must be my superpower. I'm the only one who can see it.
Exactly. Okay, I have the same. You and I are in the same boat, and my thing is okay. I have a 2-story house, So there's a little laundry basket that sits down at the bottom of my steps, so you could put your laundry in it. You know, if you take off your socks.
Oh.
Or, you know, your shirt or whatever, and you put it in the laundry basket.
I'll bet the base of that laundry basket all the way around has clothes and crap in it and nothing in the laundry basket inside.
That's because it's invisible to my 14-year-old.
Right.
Like, literally, I don't think he has the capability of seeing a laundry basket. My little one, not as much. Ian's not as bad, but there are times. But, yeah, and I have baskets for shoes. And are any of the shoes in the basket? No.
Nope.
They're sitting by the basket, but not in the basket.
Yep.
And I love it when Nathan will make some food in the kitchen, like a little instant macaroni and cheese.
Yep.
I always ask him, Nathan, can you come clean up your mess in here? He walks in and goes, what mess? Really?
That's what I'm saying.
How about half a packet of powdered cheese you got all over the... I mean, did you get any in the macaroni and cheese? Because most of it's on the counter.
Right?
I mean, I'd love that. What mess? What clothes? What are you talking about? OMG. You're right. I think moms have superpowers. We can only see certain things, right? Because obviously they can't see a lot of what we can.
See, and I'm really...
So
I'm,
a lot
like
of you...
I know a lot of wives complain about their husbands who do that. Like, they take their clothes off and throw it by the hamper. Or they go in the kitchen and they pull everything out and they don't put anything away. Mark, in that respect, is so much cleaner than even I am. Like, when I go and change my clothes or whatever, or I try something on in the morning, I'll leave it on the bed. If I don't like it, like I try it on and I put it on the bed, I never have to clean up after Mark. I have to clean up after the kids, but I never have to clean up after him. I am so fortunate when it comes to that, because I know a lot of wives who their biggest pet peeve is not necessarily their kids not cleaning up, but their husbands. And I don't have that problem, but my kids are slobs, so...
I don't have that problem because I don't have a husband.
Well, hey, speaking of husbands... got rid of that
a long time ago.
Do you know what today is?
No.
Today...
It's not your birthday, and your anniversary just passed, so... I don't know, the first time that you batted eyes at him? I don't know. What?
My first date. 21 years ago today was my first date. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy.
Well, congratulations to you and Mark.
Ah, thanks.
On your first date 21 years ago.
21 years ago. It was a good day.
Okay. I would have to agree, I suppose. I wasn't there, but I'll agree with you.
That's funny. Anyway.
All right. So, any more pet peeves that you want to share before we...
Not necessarily that I can think of. I mean, we could go on for days with pet peeves.
For days. I could talk about every single one on this list over here, and there would be something about it that irritates me. So, but we don't need to bore people with all of those.
Right.
But we will do another episode about driving pet peeves because that is, whew, man, I tell you, there's a lot of cussing that goes on in my car when I'm driving.
And you know, it's funny, on the topic of driving and pet peeves, I can remember being in Phoenix and driving and all of that when I worked in Phoenix. I can remember driving the freeways there, and it was bad then. That was 12 years ago.
Oh, it's really bad now.
Now
it's really bad now.
I even get we have 2 stoplights in the town that I live in now, and when my job lets out, they let out at 2 o'clock, and when I worked the shift from 5:30 to 2, oh my gosh, getting out of the parking lot was the worst thing ever. It was, that 5-minute rush hour was horrible. So yeah, I don't think I'd survive on the freeways of Phoenix anymore.
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. Because, I really wish I was a good whistler. Because I think every time you would say something about the little town you live in, like we have 2 stoplights, I would start whistling to Andy Griffith's theme.
Oh, you know what?
But I'm not a very good whistler, so I can't do that, and it sound good. Maybe I'll find like a sound clip that I can just like hit a button, and it'll play it when you say something like that. I'm going to look into that. I'm going to figure out how to do that, because that would be funny. funny. All right, let's do best friend questions. Okay. You go first.
Oh, you always make me go first. Okay.
Yeah, well.
All right, here's a question for you. I'm just warning you that it's coming.
Oh, great, thanks.
Okay, this is about me, and I want your answer. Okay.
Well, I hope so, since you are my best friend, and that's what this whole thing's about.
Well,
so.
I mean, I'm okay. So yeah, that was dumb. See, I'm back. Okay, what annoying trait do I have? And it can be, well, okay, so just, yeah, we'll just go with that. What annoying trait do I have? What's your biggest pet peeve about me?
Am I allowed to only pick one? Is this like...
I'm hurt!
Oh, come on. I know you could probably think of a long list of mine.
You can go through the list. But just remember, we're at 50 minutes.
No, I'm just joking. There's not really a whole lot I could actually say, really. I would probably say the one that you've had the longest, that is just your lack of tactfulness.
Oh, yeah, God.
And sometimes I can't tell you how many times throughout all the years that we've known each other, especially in high school, where you would say something and I know that I was just over in a corner going, oh God,
yep.
Why did she just say that? Why did she just say that? I mean, literally, we got kicked off the debate team. Wasn't it the debate team or it was drama club? Because of something that you said to somebody. And they would not allow us to come back because you opened your mouth and you inserted your foot and it was all over. That was the end of our...
You want to know the irony about that?
It was what?
You want to know the irony about that? I don't remember what it was that I said, but I remember I started drama in drama club.
I don't
and
either.
They kicked us out.
That's
what it was.
Yeah, only you. Only you could start drama. I know. I think it had something to do with somebody going to a dance and not asking the right person. I don't know. You opened up a whole can of worms.
And it was one of those things where it was... I remember it was something like that. I don't remember any of the circumstances, but I remember me feeling like, oh man, like it wasn't intentional, and it never, anytime I've ever done that,
it never is intentional with you.
I know. It's not like I was that person who liked to instigate things. I just did it and didn't mean to. I was really naive, and I'm not saying that so much has changed now. I'm just not as bad as I used to be. But yes, I do.
No, it's because now as an adult, you will stop and think before you say something a little bit better than you did back then. That was the biggest problem. You wouldn't stop and think before your mouth would start going. Like your brain gave you no time to tell your mouth to shut the fuck up.
Well, that's, you know why? It's because I didn't want to think about what I was going to say. I wanted to be just as surprised as everybody else.
Well, guess what? You succeeded a lot.
And I made lots of enemies. Yeah. Never understood why nobody liked me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well.
I wonder why.
Who knows?
I also wonder why I stuck around for so long, but, you know.
Whatever.
That's another whole episode.
Because you wouldn't have had anybody to make fun of if you didn't stick around. That's the truth.
That is true. Oh, that reminds me. I have another idea for a topic that I have to put on the list, too, but I'm not going to say that aloud.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, your question.
I had a question, but I want to ask you the same question you just asked me about me. I'm scratching my question.
Oh, okay.
And I'm asking the same question that you did.
You know, it's funny, because when I asked that, I thought, what if that's her question? What would I say? I would say my biggest pet peeve in high school about you was that you teased me all the time. It was like... I
was a bully.
You picked on me more than anybody ever did. You teased me about my boobs being small. You called me a carpenter's dream. You were just mean. And every single time we got in a fight, you took the third wheel with you, and I was left standing by myself. So...
I can't help it if they liked me better.
But I do remember like the 1 or 2 times that happened and they actually sided with me. Wow, that was like the Dragon Lady of Van came out.
Dude, I will admit right now, I was not a nice person when I was younger. I was one of those people that if you were my friend, you were my friend.
Right.
You didn't have other friends. You were my friend, right. And that's it.
Yep.
Like, I know that that's how I was back then. I'm not that way anymore.
No.
I can honestly say I'm not that way anymore. But yeah, I wasn't very nice back then, especially to you. And so I really don't know why you're still here because
but that's what
I
don't
know if I would be my friend.
That's what I've said. And you know, that goes along with part of my personality has always been that I'm an easy target. And so it's easy for me to get picked on or teased or whatever because I have that kind of personality. I'm still like that.
True.
It's just in a different context now. But, like, my mom used to say to me all the time, too, like, you and I would get in a fight. She'd be like, why are you friends with that girl? I don't know, Mom.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. And then we'd be friends again, and
know.
all would be great for a couple days, and then we'd fight.
Uh-huh.
And, yeah. Anyway, so, yeah, that's what I would say. I don't know that I could really think of anything, you know, in more recent. I just, you know, not anything that affects me, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't know what I would say now. But in school, that was it. It was that you made fun of me and picked on me more than anybody. You were my biggest bully.
Well, yeah, I tell people now because I still do pick on people a lot. Well, I mean, I am sarcastic by nature.
Right.
And with my family, that's how we communicate. We're just sarcastic. So, but I always tell people if they get upset with me about being like picking on them, I always tell them, look, if I'm not picking on you or making fun of you or joking around with you, then it means I don't like you.
Right.
Because if I like you, then I'm comfortable enough to joke around with you and make fun of you. If I'm not doing that with you, chances are I don't really like you all that much. Or you make me feel uncomfortable and I just don't want to waste my time. Why would you want to waste such good sarcasm on somebody who's not going to appreciate it? That's my question to all.
You know, that's something to ponder. I feel very loved.
See? You should. Because I'll pick on you a lot. All right. Well, this has been a fun episode. And we could probably talk for another 2 hours on this subject. But we don't want people to get bored. So let's do our admin stuff. We do want to give some thank yous out to the people who are following us, some recent people who are following our podcast. Some of the more recent ones are Married AF. I shake my head.
Yes, that's a good one. The content.
I'll shake my head. That's a good one.
The content couple.
Yeah, everybody should listen to that one.
Yeah, yes. I shake my head.
The content couple.
Funny. I agree about that one.
It is very funny. Speak Between the Lines, Soap Opera Superstore, the Little Cutie podcast. I think that was all of them.
Yeah.
But just wanted to give a shout out to those guys and say thanks for following us. Thanks for supporting us. We certainly do appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And we do want to start doing our mini-sodes, but nobody's emailing us. I'll just be frank. And we're going to call them coffee breaks, but we want it to be stuff that you guys are sending in to us and want us to talk about or share on the podcast. So our email is spikecoffeeandsarcasm@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, our Tumblr. Are we on Tumblr
we're
now?
On Tumblr. Yep. I have to update that one. I haven't done that.
It's okay. We're new, so we're working on it.
Yep.
But send us an email or even tweet at us. Hashtag anything. Hashtag what your pet peeves are. If you found anything that are our pet peeves are also your pet peeves, let us know. If you give us a rating or, a comment or anything on our podcast on iTunes or Podbean or anywhere else
Spotify.
You know where we are. Spotify, yeah. If you give us a rating or a comment, we'll do a shout out to you on our next episode. So let us know how we're doing. We haven't really gotten a whole lot of feedback, so we'd like to know what you guys think. So
for sure.
I think that was all that I had. Oh, what are we talking about next episode? What did we decide?
I think that the topic for next episode is going to be if I knew then what I know now. I think that'll be a good one because
oh boy,
there's a lot of stuff that
sure.
I've even said to my children a million times, man, if I only knew then, like if I right now, if I were your age, if I had the information that I have now. So yeah, that'll be a good topic. I think that'll be something good to talk about.
I think so too. I think it's definitely something that we can relate to because we were friends for most of that. If back then.
Oh yeah.
That, what would you have changed
lots of
back then to what we are right now?
Yep.
Oh, lots of them. All right. Well, thanks again for tuning in, and hopefully you will tune in for the next episode. And like I said, give us a shout out somewhere. Let us know that you're out there and you're listening and you're enjoying it. So we will talk to you guys later.
Bye.